seated position today because that feels appropriate, and just find your way into what is a comfortable seated position for you. I'll try not to keep you in a seated position for too long because I know that can be not so comfortable for everybody. So I hope everybody's doing well in the last couple of days that we've been in our lockdown, which came as a mighty shock, I'm sure, to most of us. We had that little interlude in January, but here we are again. So sometimes I find that the nervous system can spike up a little when we're back in this situation of uncertainty and unknowing. So all we can really do is just go with the flow and just see what happens, I guess. We have no real answers, do we? And we have no more information than what we've been given this morning. So let's take some time. What I really love us to do is to bring our awareness into the space, whatever space you've created for yourself in your home space, so that we can leave that outside world on the outside. So we create this beautiful inner space of where for the next however long you can stay. I know some of you can only stay for 30 minutes and that's perfectly okay. But for the next 30 to 60 minutes, just making this space really sacred and really special. And you'll see my cats run across probably here. I think Finn's coming over to say hello. Or you might see him in the, there he is over there. But let's try and just, we can't shut completely the outside world out, but we can shine a light on this inner world. We can shine a light on us, and the really beautiful way to bring our awareness into this space and to anchor it in is to start to observe your breath. So I invite you now just to notice the breath, just gently moving in and out of your body without really changing it, just to notice. Because sometimes when we're hit with something like what we're going through now, we can find the nervous system shifts over into this, what we call sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight and flight response. And so the breath can become a little short or a little shallow. So it's nice to spend a few moments here just observing the breath, noticing some of the qualities of the breath, noticing whether it's short, is it shallow, is it fast? And can we slow the breath down just a little? So it's an invitation to bring consciousness to the unconscious act of breathing. And so we have that, not control, but we are able to bring a little bit of direction to the breath and actively slow the breath and actively deepen the breath. And this will take us into slowly what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest. And so sometimes you find during yoga you dip in and out of both, especially if it's really quite energetic yoga and the breath starts to shorten. That's okay. One of my cats is going quite crazy and running everywhere. So if you see this thing running across, that's just Finn having, I don't know, feeling for some reason as if he's, don't know, needs to really chill out. Finn, stop it, darling. And the other thing to do to anchor yourself into this space is just to gently move and allow the weight to shift a little, perhaps from the front of the sit bones to the back of the sit bones, a little side to side. So whatever you've been doing in your morning, and most of you are working from home, it's nice to take a break from your desk, nice to take a break from that working space. And so letting yourself, move a little and just start to now take a scan through your physical body just to notice where you're feeling a little tension, where you're feeling a little bit of tightness. And just become aware of that. Wrap awareness around any areas that might be tense or tight for you. It could be the shoulders. It could be, you might just gently move your head a little from side to side, nodding yes and no. Shoulders rolling up, back and down. feeling a little as you move the upper body from side to side, and that might give you some indication into your hip flexors. It's not really great in a seated position to really see what's going on through the lower part of the body, but that will become apparent as we move and flow around the mat. So sometimes what I get you to do here is just notice anything that arises for you during this initial scan, but also be open to anything that may arise as you move and flow around the mat. So some of you may have injuries or something that you've been working, and I know there's a couple of you that have got things going on that you've been working towards improving and having a little bit of physio and things. So please just know that nothing we do ever in a practice is compulsory. It's all completely voluntary. So check in as you move. Something may not arise now, but last week I had something arise mid-flow, and it was like, oh, that was interesting, and it was just a little something happening in my glute that needed a little bit of extra awareness after practice. So that can happen as well. So if you need to, sit back in your child's pose, do anything that you need to do, take some breaths and join back in when you feel ready, and just know that nothing's compulsory, it's all completely voluntary. So before we start to move, I'm just going to get you to come back to your breath. So as we bring awareness to the breath, and we've been slowing the breath down and allowing it to deepen just a little, let's start to move towards taking what's called a deep belly, yogic, diaphragmatic, dirga, 3-part natural breath. I'm going to call it the natural breath. So what this looks like is that as we slow the breath down and as we take our next inhale, close down your eyes here and follow the breath as you draw it in through the nostrils. Allow it to travel down the back of your throat and all the way through the lungs, feeling it enter into the diaphragm muscle, and let that muscle fill and open and drop a little down towards the belly. So there's somewhat of a pillowing out through the belly, through the front, the back, the sides, and then let that expansive feeling continue to rise all the way up into your chest. So there's a little lift of the collarbones at the peak of the inhale and an expansion of the rib cage to the edges of your skin. And then as we exhale, breath slowly and softly leaves the top of the lungs, the bottom of the lungs. We feel the diaphragm muscle shift up. And as breath leaves the belly, that navel softly draws in towards your spine. So what we're looking for here is an expansion on the inhale, an openness, a way to create space. But we want to allow that expansion to take place from the very, very depth of that inhale. So we inhale as deep as we can, like you're almost sending that breath down a pipe all the way down towards the lower torso, and then feeling that expansion front, back, and side. And then feeling that breath rise to feel expanding now all the way into the upper chest. And then on the exhale, we want to experience a sense of softness. So rather than think of your inhale as being this openness, beautiful way to create space, and then the exhale, we bring it all back. Let's keep that spaciousness, let's keep that expansion on the inhale, at least on an energetic level. And instead think of that exhale as bringing us to a place of softness. So we soften through the tight areas, the tense areas in our body. We open up those smaller areas, and instead of closing them back down, we create a sense of softness. And then we're able to stretch a little more and flow a little more around the mat. So if you had a hand on your belly and one hand on your chest, during the inhale phase, the hand on your belly would lift a little before the one on your chest as we fill from the bottom to the top. And during the exhale phase, the hand on your chest would soften and fall a little before the one on your belly as we empty from the top through the middle to the bottom. So this is our yogic, diaphragmatic, dirga, natural, 3-part, 3-step breath. And it's a really beautiful way during these times when we're in this lockdown period and when we're in this period of uncertainty. This breath is a beautiful breath for you to come back to keep your nervous system safe, calm, or to keep you calm, and to keep you in that feeling of I'm okay, I'm safe, and rest and digest, rather than being in that sympathetic, I don't know what's going on, fight, flight, fight, flight, this underlying program that I believe we're running for a bigger part of the day than we would like, or a bigger part of our life than we would like to think. It's become this operating system. So the breath is, I think, a beautiful tool that we can use to upgrade from that sympathetic. Let's upgrade to the parasympathetic more times during the day than we can, so we're not running at this underlying humming stress pattern that's running through us. So the breath, I just think the breath is this amazing undervalued tool that we take for granted because it's an unconscious act. So bring your consciousness and awareness to the breath at any time you can during the day for a couple of breaths and feel it anchor you. It's even better if you can step outside and ground your feet into the earth, or ground your buttocks into the earth, sit on the earth, or lie down on the earth and take those breaths and feel that energy of the earth coming through you as you ground down and slow down. All right, so let's start a little bit of movement and flow around the mat. With your next inhalation, you could peel the eyes open and bring the hands towards the ceiling to meet in prayer, and exhale, guide your hands into your heart space. And let's do that again. Inhale, lift the arms, creating that space, that openness, that expansion, and softening as you exhale. Let's start to move a little through the spine. So inhale, let your fingers touch. And as you exhale, let your right hand come down and left arm can reach towards the right. And then we can inhale, let's come through T-arms on the inhale and exhale over to the left. And we'll come back to the right. Inhale and exhale to the right and hold on this side. So as you're reaching that left hand, let your right elbow soften somewhat. So this right shoulder drops away from the ear as well, and we create a little bit of distance there. And then we're just looking to open up through this left side body. So let's inhale and just press the floor away a little, and exhale, soften and reach a little further. And let's do that again. Inhale, just pressing the floor away, lifting a little. Exhale and reach and soften through that right elbow, through that right shoulder. One more time. Inhale and lift, and exhale to reach. And then let's use the next inhalation to bring the hands to meet in prayer. And we'll exhale, this time guide hands to the navel or solar plexus. Let your fingers interlace. Draw the hands towards the chin, lift the elbows nice and high on your inhale, and exhale round through your spine, bringing chin to chest and navel to spine. Let's inhale now, lift the arms, and an opportunity to open through the chest. So as you exhale, release the hands all the way behind. Let your fingers interlace here. Draw the hands towards the floor. Lift a little up and away from the buttocks. Roll the shoulders back, broaden the collarbones, and you might send gaze towards the ceiling with your next inhalation. And then as you exhale, bring the hands back towards your heart. Let's move the spine a little rotation. Give the spine a little bit of twist. So inhale and take the hands towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, let's twist to the left, yeah? So left hand comes behind, right hand to that left thigh or knee. We'll take a little flow here. So inhale, come back through center. Let your fingers touch. And then exhale, take that twist to the right. Right hand comes behind, left hand to that thigh. And then let's come back through center. Inhale. And we'll exhale and twist to the left and hold here. So as your right hand lands on that left thigh, now inhale and lift and lengthen through the spine. Let the crown of the head reach nice and tall. And then as you exhale, we can let the shoulder lead the way. So shoulder turns, shoulder draws rib cage and chest, and then lastly, let your head and neck turn to the wall behind. So nice deep breath in to find some length through the vertebra, finding a little bit of spaciousness and expansion, and then feel as if you're softening on the exhale. Shoulder, rib cage, chest, and we can soften those spongy discs that lie between each and every 33 vertebra that we have in our spine. So let's use our next inhalation now to lift that left arm towards the ceiling, and on the exhale, bring it across to the opposite thigh or knee. So we find a little bit of openness now through the upper back, and think that we've opened a little bit through the chest. We get to open through the upper back, through the back of the heart here. So let's take a breath in, and then on the breath out, let yourself just start to fold forward towards the floor, towards your mat. And then lifting a little on your inhale, just pressing away, just lifting a little, and then exhale, going a little bit deeper. And then let's use our next inhalation. We'll lift the torso, and all I want you to do is slide your hands across and take hold of opposite elbows. And then lift the arms And draw the arms back just a little. And take a breath in here, and on the breath out, let yourself lean to the right. And then come back through center on your inhale, and exhale to the left. Nice. And then come back through center. And as you exhale, just unravel the arms here and just bring them gently to the sides of the mat. Let's open up the neck a little bit here if we've been sitting at a desk all morning too. So slowly bring your chin towards your chest. And all I'd like you to do is now bring your hands and interlace them over the back of your head and start to draw those elbows towards each other. So we start to feel this stretch down the back of the neck. Don't pull too hard. And then as you inhale, let's open and lift the chin off the chest and draw the elbows back and maybe lift gaze towards the ceiling. And then exhale, close back down. Draw the elbows towards each other. And then inhale to lift. And can we hold here and use the exhale just to bring the hands to the mat again, to the sides of the body. Let's take a breath in, and on the breath out, let your right shoulder just gently lean towards the right ear. And then we can inhale, roll chin to chest, and exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then inhale, roll chin to chest, and exhale, right ear to right shoulder, and hold here. And let's just now work with a stretch down the left side of the neck. So as you take your next inhalation, gently draw that shoulder towards the left ear, left shoulder to left ear. And then on the exhale, softly lower that shoulder away. And do that again. Inhale, lift the shoulder towards the left ear, and soften on the exhale. And just hold here. And use your next inhale to bring your chin to chest, and exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then we can inhale, draw the right ear towards the right shoulder, and exhale, let it softly just drop away. And again, inhale, lift the right ear towards the right shoulder, and exhale, let it softly drop away. And then bring your chin back to chest with your next breath. Lift the head, and we'll inhale now, bring hands towards the ceiling to meet in prayer, and exhale, just guide hands to your heart space. And inhale, lift the arms towards the ceiling, and exhale, find cactus arms now. And then let's take that flow to the other side. Let your fingers touch on the inhale, and exhale, left hand comes down, right arm reaches to the left. And we'll come back through T arms on the inhale, and exhale over to the right. And then let's land on the left. Inhale and exhale. So landing on this left side, letting the shoulder gently drop away from the ear as we soften through that elbow. And just bringing awareness to this right side body, using 3 breaths, or taking 3 breaths, just a little press away on the inhale, and then we can soften and go that little bit deep on the exhale. And again, pressing the floor away on the inhale, softening and reaching a little further on the exhale. 1 more breath. Opening up a little through that right side body and giving the spine an opportunity to move different ways. Let's inhale now, bring the hands to meet in prayer, and we'll exhale, guide hands all the way to your navel or solar plexus. Let your fingers interlace here. Draw the hands towards the chin, lift the elbows nice and high on the inhale, and exhale around through your spine. And then lift the arms with your next breath in. And on the breath out, slow release of the hands to interlace behind you. Draw the hands towards the floor, and that little lift up and away from the buttocks. So we roll the shoulders back, broaden the collarbone, and you might send gaze towards the ceiling with your next inhale. And then let's exhale, bring hands back to the heart. So we'll take that twist flow starting on the right, send hands towards the ceiling on your next inhale, and exhale, twist first to the right. And then come back through center with your inhale. And exhale, let's twist to the left. And we'll land on the right. Inhale. And exhale. Twisting to the right and holding here. So when your left hand reaches that right thigh, lift and lengthen now. Find a little bit of length through the spine. Feel like the crown of the head is being drawn towards the ceiling. And with each exhalation, we soften. Shoulder, let the shoulder lead the way. Let the shoulder draw rib cage and chest, and lastly your head and neck turn to the wall behind. So nice deep breaths in here. Feel the sit bones pressing to the earth below, crown of the head reaching nice and tall. And then find that little bit of openness, that softness through the spine. And then let's use our next inhale to take that right arm up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we can bring it across to the opposite thigh or knee. Walk the hands across. Find that little bit of space through the upper back. Take a breath in. And on the breath out, let's just let ourselves fold forward over those shins. A little lift on the inhale. And we can go that little bit deeper on the exhale. And then using your next inhalation to lift the torso. But we're going to separate the arms and take hold of opposite elbows and then lift the elbows up behind us. And inhale here and exhale, just gently lean that left elbow to the left side. And then come back through center with your inhale and exhale over to the right. And then back through center with your inhale. And just use the exhale to release the hands just to the sides of you. And then we'll take one more breath. Inhale, let hands meet in prayer. And exhale, guide hands to the heart. Keeping the hands in prayer. Inhale, send them back towards the ceiling. And exhale, we'll find those cactus arms. And then bring the hands back to your heart space. So as you exhale, just guide hands to your heart. And we're going to transition now to hands and knees. Any way you get there is fine. I like to inhale, lift the arms to shoulder width, and then exhale, bring hands out in front and uncross the feet. I'm going to turn side on. What we want here is knees under hips and hands under shoulders, and spread your fingers nice and wide. And just let yourself find a little bit of cat and cow flow, where we inhale, let the belly drop and the chest come forward and gaze forward or eye gaze to the ceiling, and then exhale round through your spine. So just taking, this is our cat and cow, just taking a few, maybe 2, 3, 4, whatever feels nice for you here. So we can get that spine moving in a slightly different direction. We've moved it side to side, we've given a little bit of a twist, but this is also a nice way to massage through the abdominal muscles too. So coming back to find stillness, we'll inhale now and take that right arm up towards the ceiling, your right arm, and exhale, just let it float underneath the left. And then do that again. Inhale, lift the right arm. Exhale, just let it float. So one more time, inhale. And this time on the exhale, slide that arm underneath the left. Let's bring the right side of our face down onto the mat. And we can either leave the left hand here, or you might lift that left arm towards the ceiling. And just work on drawing this shoulder back a little. So as we sink into that right back shoulder, the option is to maybe bend this left arm at the elbow, wrap the arm around the lower back and reach for the top of your right thigh and take the bind here. You don't have to, it's just an option. So we want to breathe into that back shoulder. We want to open up a little through the left side rib cage or the left chest. And this is where you can take that nice deep belly breath. Maybe close down your eyes and just enjoy this nice deep stretch through the shoulders, a little through the chest. And then you can use your next breath to take that left arm back up. And if it's already up, we can bring it now down underneath the shoulder. Inhale now to press the floor away. And let's exhale, slide our hands all the way to the top of the mat now. We're going to take what's called puppy pose or anahatasana. So we inhale here. And as we exhale, we sink chin and chest towards the floor. So we want our thighs and shins to be in about a 90-degree position, so it's not child's pose. And we're working to bring chin and chest as close as we can to the mat. So this is chest opening physically, heart opening energetically. And I'm going to turn front on in a moment so I can show you where I'd like us to go with this particular pose, just so you can see what's happening. So I'm in my anahatasana, and so are you. And then what I'd like you to do is Use your next inhale just to lift high enough so you can walk your hands off to the right side. We want hips and knees staying towards the front, but we want our arms and upper body, torso, to walk off to the right side, and let your left hand walk a little further out than the right. So take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, sink chin and chest towards the floor. So we open into those intercostal muscles that line the left side of the rib cage. So we're just looking to open up a little more through that side left rib cage. One more breath. And then as you take your next inhale, lift high enough so you can walk your hands back across the mat. And we can now take our hands off to the opposite side. So right hand walks a little further out than the left. And just let yourself sink. So we open up through that side right rib cage. And then let's walk our hands back onto the mat. Inhale and exhale. Just sink again into your puppy pose. Find that Anahatasana. So we open just one last time through the chest. And then from here, let's use our next inhale to slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. And as you exhale, just find your way back to your nice neutral spine. So we're back in our tabletop. And we can inhale now, take that left arm up towards the ceiling. And exhale, just float that arm underneath the right. And do that again. Inhale to lift. Exhale, just letting it float. And one more time. Inhale. And this time as we exhale, let that arm slide underneath the right. Bring the left side of your face down onto the mat. So we work into that back left shoulder, our face, front on face. And you might take your right arm up towards the ceiling. So we sink into that left back shoulder. We open a little more through the front rib cage on that right side and chest. And you might bend the elbow and wrap that arm around the lower back and reach for the top of your left thigh. And just let yourself just find that nice deep belly breath. And then we can use our next breath to take that right arm back underneath the shoulder, pressing the floor away and bringing our hands back under shoulders and just finding that tabletop. And you might just take a few rounds of cat and cow here just to re-establish this tabletop position and find a little bit of movement again through the spine. And then let's find a nice neutral spine. We can bring our hands just a hand's length out in front from our shoulders now. And as you take your next inhale, just let yourself come forward, find a nice low plank. And tuck your toes and exhale back to find now an active child's pose. So we're going to do that again. Inhale, come forward, low plank. Exhale back into your active child's pose. And then let's go again. Inhale to come forward. But this time as we exhale, let's lower slowly onto our mat. We'll bring our hands out in front, so elbows are under shoulders, forearms on the mat, palms of the hands on the mat. And just inhale, lift your gaze, lift your chest. We find what's called Sphinx pose. And exhale, soften the shoulders a little here. And take one more breath, just one more. And then with your next exhalation, lower chest back to the mat, to the floor. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's tuck toes and lift through that nice low plank on your inhale. And as you exhale, let your knees hover over the mat. Bend the legs. Send the buttocks to the wall behind you. So we're in a kind of bent-legged, downward-facing dog. And then when you feel ready, just check your hands are shoulder width. Your fingers are spread nice and wide. Allow one foot at a time to pedal towards the mat into your downward-facing dog. So let's take this nice and slow.
So we feel each heel reaching slowly towards the mat, and we feel that opening through the calf muscle, through the back of the knee, through the hamstring. And we just take our time to warm a little into our legs, to the backs of the legs, into our downward facing dog. So let's take a twist in our dog. Lift onto your toes, slide the heels to the right, bend the knees and press the floor away. And then slide the heels to the left, bend the knees and press the floor away. And then let's come back through center. Check your feet are hip distance. So it's nice here with our next breath to draw the chest back towards the thighs, to melt the heels towards the floor. Keep a little bit of bend through the knees so we're not locking anything out, and lift the tailbone towards the ceiling. And then let's just take one more breath. And then you can look between your hands and you might walk or step or jump your feet to the front of the mat with your next inhalation. So as you exhale, let's bend the knees, let the chest rest on the thighs, take hold of opposite elbows and just let yourself gently swing or sway in this ragdoll pose. So we let any stress or tension just roll out through the top of the head, softening the shoulders. You might gently shake the head, yes, no, maybe. And then bring your hands onto the mat. And with your next inhalation, take a nice slow spinal roll. Let vertebra stack on vertebra. So hands can just rest at the side of the body, just so we're in Tadasana. Feet are hip distance. Give the shoulders a roll up, back and down, and let the soles of your feet just press firmly into the mat, and palms of the hands face the front of the room. And just take a moment in Tadasana, mountain pose, just to let everything settle. Take a few breaths, soften the shoulders. Feel as if you're gently drawing your pubic bone to the navel, but the tailbone is dipped towards the floor. That the crown of the head is reaching nice and tall. And then from here we'll flow. So let's use our next inhale to bring the hands towards the ceiling to meet in prayer. And as you exhale, we'll tip from the hips and fall down onto the mat. So use your first inhalation just to slide the hands halfway up the shins, and exhale, find your flat back here. So we feel like we're pressing the backs of the legs to the wall behind, crown of the head to the wall in front. Take one more nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, release the hands back onto your mat, and let's step your right leg to the back of the mat. Nice big long runner's lunge, and we'll drop down through the back knee and inhale to lift the arms here. Let's exhale, bring the hands behind, interlace the fingers. Draw the hands towards the floor, lift a little up and away from the buttocks. You can lean a little into the right thigh and tuck that hip up and under. And maybe send gaze towards the ceiling with your next breath in. And then as we breathe out, let's release the hands to frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, and use your next inhalation to slide that left leg behind you. Find your plank now, high or low. So knees can be down or knees can be up, your choice. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower onto your mat. Let's bring hands a little wider than shoulders. Shoulders down away from the ears and hug the elbows in. And as you take your next inhalation, just start to peel your chest off the mat. As you exhale, soften shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the glutes together. Take one more nice deep breath in. And then lower to the floor with your breath out. Hands under shoulders. Let's tuck toes, lifting through your plank, high or low with your inhale. And exhale back to your down dog. And then we can look between our hands and walk, step, jump our feet to the front of the mat with our next inhalation. Exhale, chest onto thighs, and then nice slow spinal roll as we inhale. So we're going to keep flowing here. So bring hands to reach for tall mountain pose. And then exhale, tip from the hips and fold back down onto your mat. Inhale to find your flat back, hands again halfway up the shins. Exhale back to your forward fold and step your left leg to the back of the mat. Nice big long runner's lunge and drop down through the back knee. And we can inhale and lift the arms. And exhale, bring those hands behind. Let your fingers interlace, draw the hands towards the floor. Lift a little up and away from the buttocks. You can lean a little into that left thigh, but just tuck that hip a little up and under. Perhaps then gaze towards the ceiling with your next inhale. And then exhale, release the hands, framing the front foot. Let's tuck toes on that left leg, lift the left knee. Slide the right leg back behind us. Find your plank, high or low. Inhale here. And exhale, just lower slowly to the floor. We'll find cobra again, hands a little wider than shoulders. Inhale to peel the chest off the mat, squeezing the glutes. And let's exhale, lower back down. Hands under shoulders, tuck your toes, lifting through your plank, high or low with your inhale. Exhale back to find your down dog. And then you can walk, step, jump your feet to the front of the mat with your next inhalation. And we can exhale, chest onto thigh. And take a slow spinal roll on that inhale. Letting hands meet in tall mountain pose. And exhale, guide hands to the heart. Just take a breath. Just one. And then let's inhale, bring hands to meet in prayer. And we'll exhale, fall back down onto the mat, tipping from the hips. Use your next inhalation to find that nice flat back, your flat back now. And exhale, back to forward fold. Let's step that right leg again to the back of the mat. Nice big long lunge. We'll keep the right knee lifted. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, let's sink down into this high crescent lunge. Relax the shoulders, reach the fingers nice and tall. So little pulsations here. Let's straighten through the front leg on the inhale and exhale. Just go a little bit deeper. And do that again. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale. So this time on the exhale, as we sink into that left leg, can we start to open our arms to the left as well? And just taking a little openness through the chest here. Relax the shoulders. Nice. And then inhale to come back through center. You can straighten through that front leg a little. And exhale, sink here. Relax the shoulders, reach the fingers nice and tall, and maybe send the gaze towards the ceiling for one last breath. And then let's release the hands to frame the front foot. And we'll slide the hips back and just work a little into the hamstring. So we'll take a little flow here, just moving forward and back with the breath. Inhale, bend into that left leg. Let the right thigh come nice and close. And exhale, just slide back here. And do that again. Inhale to come forward. And exhale, sliding back. And just do that one more time, just so the hamstring gets a little bit open. It can get really short as we sit at our desk all day. All right, let's hold here. So we're straightening through both of the legs. We're reaching that right heel towards the floor. See if we can hear with the breath. Just take a breath in. On the breath out, can you start to bring your chest a little closer to that front thigh? But feel as if it's coming forward first and then folding down. Rather than rounding through the back, bring that chest a little forward and down. You might feel to pull or to draw the toes back towards the shin if that gives you a slightly deeper stretch. One more breath. And then bend back into that left leg and keep your right hand on the mat and inhale and take the left arm up towards the ceiling. So we take this nice open rotation through the chest and take one more nice deep breath in. And then on the breath out, release that left hand. And let's slide our left leg back behind us and find our plank high or low. Inhale. And as you exhale, lower slowly to the floor. So this time, let's take our hands completely off the mat, nice and wide. Use your next inhale to peel the chest off the mat. As you exhale this time, soften through the right shoulder. Just let it gently dip towards the center and turn and look over your left shoulder. And then inhale to come back through center. And we'll exhale, dip the left and turn and look over your right. Let's go again. Inhale through center. Exhale, turn and look over your left. Inhale through center. Exhale, turn and look over the right. And then come back through center with your inhale and lower to the floor with your exhale. And we'll bring hands back underneath shoulders. Tuck your toes, lifting through your plank, high or low with your inhale. And exhale back to your downward facing dog. And then you can walk, step, jump your feet to the front of the mat with your next inhalation. Exhale your chest down onto your thighs. Nice slow spinal roll as we inhale. We'll keep moving. Hands can meet at tall mountain pose at the peak of the inhale. And then let's exhale and fall back down onto the mat. Inhale to find your flat back, your Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale back to your Uttanasana, forward fold. Let's step the left leg all the way to the back of the mat now. Nice big long runner's lunge. Keep the left knee lifted. Inhale, lift the arms. And we'll exhale, sink into this high crescent lunge. So a little pulsation, straighten through the front leg on the inhale. Exhale, maybe go a little deeper through that left leg. And again, straighten through the front leg. Exhale to sink. So this time we're going to turn to the right, nice and slow. Inhale, straighten through the right leg. As you exhale, just starting to sink into that right leg and opening that chest to the right as well. One more breath. And then come back through center. Take it nice and slow as you inhale. Exhale, let yourself sink again into this high crescent lunge and send the gaze towards the ceiling. Just for one more breath, shoulders soften, fingers reach nice and tall. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, release the hands to frame the front foot. And then we can start to shift the weight back and straighten a little into that right leg. So the left heel feels like it's reaching for the floor. So coming forward on your inhale, weight into the right leg, left thigh reaching for the floor, and exhale to slide back. And we'll do that again. Inhale to come forward. Exhale back. And let's just go one more time. Inhale forward. Exhale back and hold here. So we feel that stretch through the back of that right leg, but we're not locking out through the knee. The left heel is reaching for the floor or for the mat. Soften your shoulders a little here. Use the breath to see if you can bring your chest a little forward and then lower it down over the front thigh. And you might even feel to peel your foot off the mat so the toes of that right foot draw back towards the shin. One more breath. Let that foot come back down, bend into that right leg. Left hand can stay on the mat and we'll inhale and take the right arm up towards the ceiling. So we take that twist in the opposite direction, opening through the chest, drawing that right shoulder back. Take one more nice deep breath in. Release that hand to the floor with your breath out. Slide your right leg back behind you, finding your plank, high or low. Inhale and exhale, lower slowly to the floor. So let's now bring the hands just to the sides of the body. Palms can face the ceiling. So on your inhale, thighs, torso and arms can float off the mat here. Use the exhale to soften the shoulders away from the ears. Fingers can reach to the wall behind. Toes as well, crown of the head to the wall in front. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, lower everything to the floor. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We'll tuck toes but lift only through a low plank on the inhale. And exhale back, just find your child's pose. So you can untuck your toes here and sit the buttocks down onto the heels and forehead onto the mat. And walk your hands a little further out towards the front. And just let yourself hold here for 3 breaths. Soften the shoulders, soften the belly, soften the chest. And then we'll use our next inhalation to lift the buttocks off the heels. And then let's walk the knees one at a time towards our hands. Cross the ankles, sit back on the mat, and extend your legs out in front and just give them a little bit of a shake. So we're going to come back down onto our backs and take a bridge pose. So let's inhale and lift the arms. I'm just going to shuffle forward a little. And as you exhale, just lower slowly your back onto your mat, nice and slow. And just draw your feet in towards the buttocks, your knees into the chest, just a little side to side rock perhaps here. And then let that rock evolve into circles. So we're just circling the knees to create a little massage through the glutes and the lower back. Take just a couple in one direction and then pause and change. And then you can come back to stillness. Just gently hug the knees in, feel the thighs rest on your soft belly. And then let the feet touch down just below the buttocks. And let your hands just slide to mid-thigh. We're just going to roll 3 bridges here. So as you take your next inhale, start to peel the back off the mat, but lift the arms towards the ceiling and all the way to the floor behind you. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the back and the arms in unison. So we bring the hands to rest mid-thigh as the back rests again on the mat. And then slide the hands over to mid-shin and gently hug the knees back in or thighs into your belly. Inhale. And as you exhale, lower the feet below the buttocks, hands again to mid-thigh. And use your next inhalation to peel the back off the mat, arms to the ceiling and then all the way to the floor behind. And then exhale and slowly lower. Lower the back vertebra by vertebra, lower the hands to mid-thigh and slide again your knees into the chest, hands over to the shins. Now this time you might also lift your head and shoulders off the floor as you draw the knees to chest, thighs into your belly. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lower head and shoulders first if you took that option. Let your feet touch down below the buttocks, hands to mid-thigh. And then as you take your next inhalation, peel the back off the mat, lifting nice and high, hands to the floor behind you. And exhale, slowly lower the back, lower the arms in unison, hands touch mid-thigh. Draw the knees into the chest, slide the hands over the shins, interlace the fingers, gently hug thighs in. You might lift head and shoulders off the floor. Take a nice deep breath in. Now as you breathe out this time, let the head and shoulders touch down first. And then we can just keep the right knee in here and let that left foot touch down. Let's straighten that right leg. And just bring the hands maybe to the back of the thigh or to the calf or around the ankle. And can we just rotate that ankle joint? Just to get a little bit of movement, flow, now that we're in this inversion with this right leg at least. Now take some time then to flex and point the foot. Draw the toes back towards the shin, point the toes towards the ceiling. And then hold the foot in a flexed position and just taking your time, take a breath in. And then slowly on the breath out, we want to just draw that leg little by little behind us. So small movements, bringing awareness to the back of the thigh, to the hamstring. And we hold a lot of tension in our hamstrings. We can hold a lot of emotional stress there as well, and in the hips. So it's always nice to have this opportunity to work into opening into the hamstrings. One more breath. And then you can, wherever you are, just bend that leg and draw the heel in towards the buttock and just gently draw the knee in towards the chest. So from here, what I'd like you to do is cross that right leg over the left leg, completely cross it over, and bring your hands to make a T pattern. We're going to lift our hips and slide them a little over to the right and heel toe the left foot in that direction as well. And then let your knees as they are just gently drift to the left side of the mat. And your head can be in any position that best supports your neck. It might be in the opposite direction. You might turn it to the right. You might feel better having it just facing neutrally, facing the ceiling, or you might turn it to the left. But what you can do here is, in this spinal twist, is gently squeeze the legs together just a little, and you might find that you're getting a little bit of a stretch into that right glute, the top right glute. One more breath. And then we can start to just roll back over onto our back. So let's keep the legs as they are, but slide the hips or draw the hips back into the center of the mat. And you can hug your knees into the chest now. Legs are still crossed. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor, and if you can, take hold of the outer blades of your feet. If that's not doable, then the ankles are a little higher up. Works just as well. Head and shoulders come back down, and we draw whatever body part we've been able to take hold of away from the other. Just to feel that little openness through the hips. One more breath. And then you can release that and uncross the legs and gently, you might hug the knees in again. You might take that little side to side rock, or you might prefer hands on the knees and to take those little massaging circles with the knees before we take this little flow to the left side. So find your way back to stillness. Hug the knees in. And we're going to keep the left knee in now and let the right foot touch down and straighten that left leg. And hands can start maybe at the back of the thigh and then maybe the calf muscle. And then maybe they end up around the ankle, and then you can rotate through that ankle joint. Just to find a little, or to give that leg a little bit of movement and openness and flow. And then come to the flex and point. Draw the toes back as you flex the foot and point the toes towards the ceiling. You'll find that you engage the back of the leg on the flex and the front of the leg on the point. Let's hold that foot in a flex position. So take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you can start to slowly draw that leg back behind you. So bringing awareness to the hamstring, not pulling too hard or with too much force, just little by little, just edging that leg back. Working with the breath, pausing to inhale and open. Create a little bit of space and then softening on the exhale. One more breath. And then wherever you have landed, bend that leg and interlace the fingers below the knee, and we can just hug that knee in towards the chest. And then what I'd like you to do is cross that left leg over the right leg and bring the arms out to make a T. Lift your hips, slide them just a little to the left. You might heel toe the right foot in that direction as well, and then let your legs gently drift, float over to the right. And again, your head can be in any direction that best supports you. And this can be all about the spine, a twist through the spine, an opportunity to massage those spongy discs that sit between each and every one of the vertebrae. Or you can bring in a little glute and hip stretch by squeezing the legs together. One more breath.
And then we'll just start to slowly roll back onto our backs and keep the legs crossed, but slide the hips back into center. And we can draw the knees into the chest, lift head and shoulders off the floor, take hold of the outer blades of the feet and draw whatever body part we've taken hold of away from the other, whether it's outer blades of the feet or ankles or a little higher up. Head and shoulders come back down and just enjoying this openness through the hips. And then uncross those legs and gently hug the knees in. And you might again just take that little rock from side to side or hands onto the knees and gently circle. We're about to come into our Shavasana. So as you find your way back to stillness, just gently hug the knees in, interlace the fingers over the shins. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. So curl into this little seed pot, this little cosmic egg. And forehead and knees, we draw as close as we can. And then take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, lower the head and shoulders to the floor. Let your feet touch down below the buttocks. And you can extend 1 foot at a time to the bottom of the mat. Feet open out to the side. Arms come to the sides of the body. Flip the palms so palms face the ceiling. Close down your eyes and just let yourself settle into your final pose, your Shavasana, where we just take a few moments to allow ourselves to come to complete rest, just acknowledging there's nothing left to do. We don't need to move our bodies in any way. We are able just to be on the mat in this space for a few moments. So let everything just start to soften. Your feet soften. Ankles, your shins, calves, knees, thighs, hips, glutes, abdomen, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your chest, your belly, the whole of your torso. Let it relax. Feel your upper back just sinking down into the mat. Shoulders relax. Your upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the fingers. Invite some softness to your face, the cheek, forehead, temple. And any thoughts that you have that are maybe arising, let them arise. Just gently guide them into your heart space so you can sink a little deeper, so you can find that beautiful point where everything is still. You can start now just to allow your breath to begin to slowly deepen and to start to bring your awareness back to your space on the mat and your position in the room. And allow your awareness from there just to very slowly expand to the four corners of the mat that you are on, then to the four corners of the space that you are in. And just slowly allow that awareness to expand beyond this space that we created for ourselves as we stepped onto our mat and into our practice. Allow that awareness to go beyond this space and start to notice the sounds of the outside world, just gently dropping back in. Maybe there's a sense of a change in the energy, or there's different smells that waft back in. And then when you're ready to come back, allow the sound of the bells to guide you back again to your physical body here on the mat inside this space. And start just to invite some gentle movement into your fingers and toes, and you might rotate your wrists and your ankles, or gently open and close your hands, or let your feet move in and out. As you invite more of that energy, that life force, that prana back into your body, feeling it slowly move and allowing yourself just to organically move in any way that feels good for you. You might feel to extend your arms overhead so your fingers reach to the wall behind, and let your toes point to the wall in front. And take a nice deep breath in here, letting your body become as long as it possibly can. As you feel yourself re-emerging, re-entering into your Wednesday afternoon. You could bend your knees and make your way over to your favorite side, and just rest your head and your upper arm and your forearm just for a few moments. Allowing everything you've received from your practice to be brought back with you, finding this sense of integration, the gifts, the goodness, the fruits of your practice. Integration can often lead to embodiment. It can be now, it could be over time, it can be with more practice, and that when we embody what we've learned, what we're learning, what we're physically doing, what we're emotionally experiencing, that's when we can find subtle changes begin to take place within ourselves. And then we have that opportunity for that to ripple out to those that we share our lives with. When you're ready, just start to slowly make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands into prayer so your thumbs just rest gently in on your sternum. Take your time, there's no hurry. We can roll the shoulders up, back and down, and just take a moment to notice how we feel now that we're back in that seated position. And just notice the breath again, slowly moving in and out of your body. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your practice with me this Wednesday afternoon. Let's close the class. We can chant together 1 Om and 3 Shantis. Take a nice deep breath in. And take another inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.